We all know that Trent is joining Real Madrid, and one of the biggest questions in world football is how will Liverpool replace him? Because Trent is not your average right back, and the things that he did for them is not going to be easily replicated. Trent is a generational kind of player. Now, defensively, he's very mediocre, but what he offers you on the ball is phenomenal. His passing range, his deep playmaking skills, when he overlaps, the crosses that he puts into the box, what he does for you with set pieces. Liverpool will miss that, but they have a big job on their hands this summer to find that replacement. And it looks like they've identified Jeremie Frimpong, the right wing back at Bayer Leverkusen. Now, I need to know, what do you guys think about this potential deal? Because I have questions about Frimpong joining Liverpool. I don't really rate him that highly. And I'm going to break down why it can be an issue if they bring him in. But I want to know what you guys think. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on those post notifications. Let's get it. So we have gotten confirmation that Liverpool are actively trying to sign Jeremie Frimpong. Big up to Florian Plettenberg, Tier 1 journalist for Sky Sports out there in Germany. And he's put this report out saying that Liverpool are seriously pursuing Jeremie Frimpong. Advanced talks have already taken place. Following detailed analysis and due to his availability, he is currently one of the top options for Liverpool to replace Trent. Frimpong is planning a move this summer, and he's available because of a release clause for around 35 to 40 million euros. Now, that makes him a very cheap option. And when you look at the numbers that he's put up for Leverkusen over the last 2 seasons, it makes sense why Liverpool are looking at him to be that Trent replacement. Because Frimpong is somebody that does create a lot of chances. But I'm not sure how he will do in the Premier League. Jeremie Frimpong is at Leverkusen, and he is a right wing back in a back three that allows him to get forward a lot. Jeremie Frimpong is more of a right winger than he is a right back. So I'm not sure how he's going to fit in a system that's a back four. Unless Arne Slot is going to do something different tactically, I think he's going to struggle in the Premier League. That's just me personally. Now, we know that Liverpool have very good center backs, right? He's going to be playing next to Van Dijk or Konate. And with that being said, right, when he goes forward, there's going to be cover for him at the back. But I just think systematically, I don't see how he's going to be able to produce what he did in the Bundesliga. If you look at how football gets played in Germany, games are a lot more open. It's like a basketball match. It's end to end in the Bundesliga. In the Prem, especially with Liverpool, they're going to be going against low blocks 9 out of 10 times. But again, I think profile-wise, an attack-minded fullback that's going to get up the pitch, is going to help in the final third, right? Jeremie Frimpong is very explosive as well. A lot of pace. And he's good in the final third, right? He can link play. He puts good crosses in. He's also good at scoring goals as well. There's been times where I've seen him play as a 10 for Leverkusen. But I just think as a right back in a back four, this is where the issues for me come up. Because if Liverpool fans were complaining about Trent defensively, then they're going to be losing their mind when they see Jeremie Frimpong. I don't think this guy could guard a light pole in a 1v1. But again, what he gives you on the ball is very good. We see him for his national team start at right wing. Guy is not a right back. And I think that Xabi Alonso has done a very good job in finding a system that got the best out of him. And if you look at the success that Leverkusen have had over the last 18 or 24 months, he played a big part in that. When they went invincible and they did the domestic double, Jeremie Frimpong was one of their best players. And I think that Arne Slot is going to have to tailor his tactics if he wants to get the best out of this player. I think you're going to need your midfield and Van Dijk to cover him a lot. Now, look, Van Dijk is arguably the greatest defender in the world right now. So he will definitely have protection, but Jeremie Frimpong is going to need that freedom to go forward. And you have to be okay with him getting cooked sometimes. It's kind of like with Trent. But I don't think that Jeremie Frimpong is as good as Trent is in the final third. I think Frimpong is, I'd say he's a better finisher than Trent. But in terms of creating, I don't think he's going to be able to be like that playmaker from deep like what Trent was. He doesn't have that kind of passing range. But for 35 to 40 million euros, you got to take a gamble. It makes a lot of sense. And I'm surprised that Leverkusen were able to hold on to him. Because last summer, I believe his release clause was active, but nobody triggered it. And I thought Leverkusen were going to get raided after they went invincible. That's usually what happens to smaller clubs that have an amazing season, right? You see it all the time. Look at Monaco when it was Mbappe in them and they won Ligue 1. Then you got Leverkusen, right? They disrupted the balance in the Bundesliga, where Bayern just win it every year. Xabi Alonso and them came through. They shook things up. And I thought for sure Frimpong was going to be gone last summer. But Leverkusen were able to keep Xabi Alonso for one more season. They were able to hold on to all their big assets. But now that Xabi Alonso is coming to Real Madrid, I think a lot of those players will leave. And when you look at how the market is in world football right now, where so many of these players are going for ridiculous money, I actually think that 35 to 40 million for Jeremie Frimpong is a very good price. It's actually a bargain, because if he didn't have this release clause, Leverkusen would be asking for like 50 to 60 M's. So this is technically, in my opinion, a steal. And even though I'm a bit hesitant on the player in this system that Liverpool will be employing, I still think it's worth the risk. You got to go out there and do that, especially if they want a right back to be attack-minded. I don't know who else they can get right now for better value. I think Frimpong is a decent player. I don't think he's world-class, but it's going to be interesting to see what Arne Slot does with him, because we got to give Arne Slot credit. His first season at Liverpool, he rocks up, wins the Premier League. And Frimpong is going to have Van Dijk, who's Dutch. The manager is Dutch. He's going to have Cody Gakpo there as well. So he's going to have players that are able to help him adjust to the Premier League. He's going to have his national team teammates there. Yeah, I get it. It makes a lot of sense. I'm just not sure about how it's going to look in a back four. Do you get it? Like, I feel like that back side for the right is going to be very exposed. But you could say the same thing when Trent was there, right? Because Trent is not that good defensively. I just think that Trent is better than Frimpong when it comes to defending. But I want to know what you guys think, right? You see the numbers that he's put up at Leverkusen. He's very involved in the attack. But at Liverpool, it's going to be a very different setup. And they're going to be going against tougher teams, right? The Premier League is a lot faster. The Premier League is a lot more physical. And how is he going to do when he's going up against low blocks every single week? Could be something to think about. But I think Liverpool should definitely be trying to get this deal done. Get in that comment section, though. I want to know what you guys are saying. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those post notifications.